Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Tyranny, Blind. Now, I'm heading to Lethian's Crossing, so let's be on our way. Ironhold Trail is where I am. And I guess Sunset Spire is where I'm going. Built in the shadow of an old world junction, Lethian's Crossing is a trading settlement. The nearby rivers are rich in iron ore. Well, I just read that, didn't I? Well, let's just go. Encounter in Lethian's Crossing. While making your way through the wilderness, you come across several dense shrubs liberally dotted with crimson berries. The fruits are plump and ripe, with a thin skin that gives a slightly under pressure of your touch, hinting at the juice within. Well, attempt to identify the plant. You recognize the plant as a budding rose, a bush that produces edible berries. These are a known aphrodisiac, commonly used in local festivals. Unfortunately, they are also mildly toxic to the practitioners of magic. Okay, I am a practitioner of magic, but someone might want or need an aphrodisiac, so I'll harvest them, sure, why not? You carefully pull several of the berries from the plant. Well, do you want any? Offer berries to a companion. Okay, Ebb and Lantry are both practitioners of magic, so I guess that leaves Barrick. But to be honest, no, I don't want to do that on it. Like, I hope when it said offer, it's literally going to be an offer, because I don't want to trick him into eating those, because that would be extremely frustrating, because he can't do anything with his, you know, pent up sexual desire. And if I give him an aphrodisiac, it's going to be even worse because he's encased in his armor. Like, that's actually cruel. I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to poison anyone. So I guess I have to do it now. His eyes, he eyes the offered berries suspiciously. Barrick tells you that while he appreciates the gesture, he had bad experiences in the past eating wild berries of the tears. His bronze and iron prison did nothing to decrease the unpleasantness. Well, sure, if you don't want it, don't do it. To be honest, it seems like a bad idea. Leave with the berries. You secret the berries away. When you next check on them, you find they've gone slightly off color and mushy. The smell wafting from the fruit reminds you of a corpse. Deciding that it might make a worthwhile poison, you bottle the juices. The reeking pulp and the pouch you stored it in, on the other hand, you discard. Okay, it is actually a toxin.
I got it.
Oh, that's quite a large place. Welcome to Lethian's Crossing, Fatebinder. And speak with someone else if you've got questions. And don't go looking for trouble here, Fatebinder.
Sorry, I can't.
Due to the frequency of the raids, all the bridges and ramps can be raised to provide safe places for settlers to hide. Speak with someone else. People may not care how the garrison treats us, but they keep the settlements safe. Travelers often stop by the market before they head out to the town, out of town. Never know what you might need or something. You can find a lot of trade goods here in Lethian's Crossing. During the clear mornings, a western waterfall reflects the rising sun in a beautiful display of color. This is the eastern waterfall. Though it cascades down alone, some settlers believe that the waterfall split from a single source somewhere above the old walls.
Curious. Sorry, I can't.
I kind of circumvented the entire town.
You see what I see? I am out of practice, but I'll try.
Investigate this item. Bring it back to a blacksmith at the Fire Forge to investigate it further. Sure. Okay, there's a bajillion people to talk to. Merchant Helena, care to take a look at my wares? Well, I actually would like to take a look at your wares, because I have a lot of trash that I need to sell or otherwise dispose of. Fine day, my friend. May I interest you in my wares? I have all the manner of goods I know you need. Show me what you have. She puts her hand on her ring belt. Let's see if we can find something you like. Heavy leather armor. Supposedly the quality is exquisite. But it doesn't seem to be like a unique item. Oh, this grants me regeneration. It seems pretty awesome, actually. To be honest, before I sell anything, let me just juggle through the things that I have. Is anyone lacking a trinket, for example? +1 vitality. Immunity to be being poisoned. All damage increased by 20% at night. Okay, this is cool for like verse or something. Oh, he doesn't have any trinkets. You can have... What? Is that a helmet? Yeah, I guess it's called a coif. I'm not sure why I thought it's a ring or whatever. Sure, it has the same kind of... kind of dislike how it looks. I'll hide the helmet for now. But you're also lacking trinkets, so you can have this. Heart of Battle, one-handed. Sigil of Life, plus 10 to control life. And to be honest, maybe should switch back to this. 7 to 9, 6 to 8. I'll keep this. But the rest I think most of it I can just sell, right? Two-handed. I'll keep this because I think this is the Iron Marshal's sword. Oh no, this is also two-handed. Okay, let's sell some things to her. Ring dropper Ceratha. The second brother regards you with a cautious expression. The Fatebinder of Tunon, yes? Welcome to Lethian's Crossing. My name is Ring dropper Ceratha, and I am Retimon's second brother. What can I do for you? I have to ask, where did Ring dropper come from? Ceratha laughs and turns red. I earned the nickname during the night of my first victory with the Brotherhood. We decided to celebrate and we drank a lot. During the drinking and celebrating, Retimon showed up. I was so nervous and drunk seeing him that I tripped and all the rings I earned scattered everywhere. I was terrified he was going to be mad about the drunkenness, but he just laughed it off and called me a ring dropper, and the name stuck. What are your thoughts on Retimon? She sighs and considers her words for a bit before answering. He's efficient, she grimaces. He has been a little unstable lately, but so far he has yet to do anything to make me really worry. He's more paranoid than normal since there have been sightings of Kairos' scouts in the area, but I think anyone would feel threatened by that. Tell me about the Bronze Brotherhood in Lethian's Crossing. She raises her chin as she speaks. We are the largest and most battle-ready mercenary group in the tiers. Lethian herself hired us to protect the settlers when she first founded the town, and this group has been here ever since. It's our home. Karas's forces tried to remove us when they invaded, but we let them know we won't go quietly. Okay, farewell. Before I enter any homes, I would prefer to talk with the people outside. Okay, there's a lot of merchants here. Merchant tents are common sight. Hello, Fatebinder. I have wares to sell if you have a mind for trade. Well, what do you sell? Good day, my fine friend. Could I interest you in all manners of provisions? There's no telling what may befall you on your travels. Show me what you have. I know we'll find something you need, he says, gesturing to the goods piled on his stand. To be honest, much as with most RPGs, I assume the best stuff I'm simply going to find, artifacts and the like. And greetings, Fatebinder. Come and have a look at my wares. What do you sell? Good day to you. Might I interest you in all manner of provisions? I think the conversation actually repeats with some of them. Now, sigils is something I am interested in. But I think I know this one. Yeah, I already know that. Sigil of Lightning, sure. I might buy that.
Sorry, I can't.
Welcome, welcome. The merchant motions you over. What can I get for you today? Be sure to stock up before you leave. There's plenty of wilds between here and the Bastard City. Show me what you have. We'll find something you like. Step closer, traveler. I have something just for you. Greetings and salutations. The jolly merchant greets you with a smile and a clap on the shoulder, and welcome to Lethian's Crossing, home of the best merchant in the entirety of the tiers. He pauses and winks. That would be me. Harakian bronze at your service, he bows. What can I do for you? Show me your wares. Mercy is a 200 something. Mace. Staff of Enigma. Okay, it's for illusions. Spell reflection. That's pretty cool, actually. Sigil of Fire, I don't know that. I'll buy that. Sigil of Rooting. Sure. Sigil of Illusion, I know that. Sigil of Bleeding. Okay. It's pretty costly. But sure. Sorry to cause a disturbance, Fatebinder. Just making a point to my friend here about harassing me for rings. He chuckles. Get it, Krassner? Point? You stabbed me, you bastard, and I'm not harassing you. All I want is what you owe me. It's a tiny scratch. Stop crying about it, you baby. If you want, we can get the Fatebinder to decide who's right in this little matter. That is, if you think you have a leg to stand on. Once you can stand up again, that is. He chuckles again. Uh, I'll adjudicate the matter, but you both need to abide by my decision. Fine by me. Then I won't have to resort to violence to prove my point. I know you're going to rule in my favor anyway, so yeah, I agree. To Felno, tell me your side of the story. I asked Krassner to do a job for me, something simple. He comes back, says the job is done, even though there are no results, and demands his pay. I tell him no, and Krassner there gets all threatening. What was the job? Business has been down on account of all the other merchants around here. I hired Krassner to have a word with some of them, maybe get them to leave town or stop competing with me on price. Not only did Krassner not do what I asked, he got back to me, but it got back to me that he shook down some of the other merchants for rings. That's not what I hired him for. Well, you did hire him to intimidate your competition, which I'm pretty sure is already illegal and should be. You hired him to intimidate your competition. I can see how it might look, but that's how it's done around here, sometimes anyway. He folds his arms. It doesn't matter since that's not the issue and it didn't work. Anyway, Krassner can keep the rings he extorted from the others, but he's not getting a single one from me. I hired him to do something and he didn't do it. End of story. Were you trying to kill him? Of course not. Like I said, he was starting to make threats and I wouldn't take no for an answer. I might not be a tough man, but I can take care of myself. To Krassner, tell me your side of the story. Felno hired me to talk to some of the other merchants into leaving town. I did what he asked, but now he won't pay up. What happened with the merchants? The merchants around here aren't going to back down just because some soldier says a bunch of mean things to them. I figured I'd shake them down for rings, convince them it would be cheaper to leave. Did the merchants pay up? I made a few rings, yeah. Once I visited all of them, I came back to collect the pay I was promised. Felno said he wouldn't pay me, and then he just stabbed me. Was this a one-time job or something ongoing? And just this one time, drinking money, you understand. The Brotherhood wouldn't approve of me freelancing for some merchant, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to do it just once. Well, to be honest, they are both wrong, because the first guy is wrong to even request this service. What kind of service is it anyway to chase away his competition? That's not how you're supposed to be doing business. You're supposed to provide a better service, thereby winning in the market. Like, and the other guy is hilarious because obviously it didn't work. He made some money on the side for himself and then came to the first guy all pleased, saying that he talked to the others and nothing happened, but he still wants the money. They are both dumb. I am ready to pronounce my decision. Do you have any last words? Well, I think it's pretty obvious to everyone that I'm the one in the right. I did not get what I hired him for, so he doesn't deserve any money, especially from me. Shut up, Felno. Just because your competitors can be intimidated doesn't mean you get out of paying me for the job. I deserve payment for the work I did. I am not going to ban them from trading. That would be basically destroying their livelihood. But I think, the guy who tried to intimidate them should be reprimanded at the very least. But the other guy doesn't deserve any money. What? But I don't like those options because I would like to admonish the guy that intimidated people, but I don't want him to pay the other guy because the other guy did nothing. I don't like those options. I would like a combination of those two, where I would tell Felno that he doesn't have to pay Krassner, but he is officially reprimanded for intimidating his competitors, and then I would tell Krassner to preferably even give back the money that he extorted from the merchants, but the option doesn't exist. Okay, to be honest, the option that speaks the best to my sense of justice is punishing them both, because they are both wrong, but I have a problem with the punishment being so severe, especially on Felno, because, he can't trade anymore. He basically has to fuck off to somewhere else, which is quite a hefty punishment. But I think I am going to choose that. I find you both guilty of intimidation and extortion. Felno, you're banned from selling anything in Lethian's crossing. Krassner, report to your superior to be punished according to the Brotherhood's laws. Gained favor with Tunon. Oh, okay. I guess he liked it. What? Oh, damn it all, fucking Krassner. You screwed us both. Neither of these fools deserved their ill-gotten gains. This is for the best. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Right.
Is what I have to say about this situation. Good day to you. Okay, so I traveled here for nothing. I thought that was an important person with something more to say, but clearly I was wrong. The river is commonly used by the merchants bringing their wares to Lethian's crossing.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
Welcome, friend. The merchant cries out to you, his belt jingling with rings. He waves his arms in a dramatic presentation of his wares. What brings you to my humble trading post? Have a certain something in mind, or just browsing? Show me what you have. Most certainly, have a look. I'm glad you came along, Fatebinder. Now that you're here, we can settle this. Why do we need a Fatebinder for this? It's such a trivial matter. Trivial? We were almost killed. Tell me what is going on. Felix sent me and Mars to the Old Walls for materials. Now, I know the Old Walls are dangerous, but Felix said he had it on good authority that there was no danger. Felix was going to make an axe for each of us in return. I couldn't pass it up. A Forgebound axe. It costs a lot of rings, normally. Hey, Forgebound magic is just as dangerous, you know. It's not my fault the most reliable, stable materials just happen to be near the Old Walls. And besides, those axes you were getting in payment were exceptional compensation for the task. You sent these two near the Old Walls? First of all, isn't that illegal according to Kairos' laws? The best materials are found near the Old Walls, and good material is hard to come by. There's no way I could do it all myself. I would never go get any forging done, and my master is very particular about meeting production quotas. It was a fair trade for the service. Plus, it's not like forging items using those materials is perfectly safe either. One error and you're a pile of ash on the floor. Have you sent anyone else to the Old Walls before? Well, I've never ordered anyone to go inside. They might have, but I have no way of knowing for sure. As one of the Forgebound, you're aware the Old Walls are off limit to everyone? Yes, of course, Fatebinder, but there's room for some flexibility in the law. After all, I'm sure Kairos would want us to produce only the best arms and armor for his armies. Tell me your side of the story, Evander. I'm not one of the disfavored, so I know getting my hands on genuine Forgebound items is pretty damn hard. Naturally, I jumped at this chance to do the job for Felix. I mean, it was just gathering materials. I didn't expect to find Bane all over the damn place. Luckily, I've dealt with Bane before and was able to fight my way out. I managed to rescue Mars while I was retreating. You've done the sort of job for Felix before? Yes, I've done similar jobs. This is the first one that has taken me anywhere near the Old Walls, though. I figured Felix knew what he was about, or that he's gotten the go-ahead from his master. Did you go inside? He hesitates noticeably before answering. Yes, only for a moment to look around, then right back out. Couldn't have been more than a minute. How did you get involved in all of this, Mars? I've known Felix since before the conquest, and when he told me about the job, I agreed to it, no question asked. It's nothing I hadn't done for him before. While I was gathering the materials, I was ambushed by scourges. If Evander hadn't come along when he did, I would have died. Are you aware that the inside of the Old Walls are off limits? Sort of, but I wasn't planning to go inside, just near enough to get the materials Felix needed. Were you ever in danger on any previous jobs? Not really. A few wild animal encounters, but nothing like this. I've made my decision. We will go along with your judgment, no matter what you decide. On the face of it, according to Tunon at least, and to Kairos, they are all guilty because they've broken the tenet of the law that says that the Old Walls are forbidden. But I don't care about that because I don't care about Kairos. I think he's more in the wrong in that, he said there is no danger, and they believed him. He's a Forgebound servant of Kairos. It's reasonable to me to assume, if you're a normal guy, that he would know what he's talking about. And he promised a kind of payment for a job that was supposed to involve no danger. So I think, it merits an additional reward if there was danger after all and they nearly died. Like, I could sentence them all to labor, and I have a feeling Tunon would appreciate that, but I'm not going to do that. Felix, you're to forge an additional item of their choice for both Evander and Mares, on top of what you've already promised as payment. But that would use all of the materials I have, including what they brought back. I would have nothing left over to complete my other projects. Too bad, but that's what the Fatebinder ruled. We'll be by later with our request. I've been wanting a new dagger. So, make something for these two louts and he gets to live. That sounds fair. I think the whole go into the old walls and we kill you law is pretty absurd, so I think it's wise to offer a more reasonable sentence, says Ebb. Yeah, Tunon didn't like it, but then, you know, I can't imagine he's going to like me very much when he realizes the depths of my actual betrayal, so, you know, it is what it is. Okay, I think I've talked to everyone outside, so let me go around and see what the different houses are about. This wall appears to have been damaged years ago, but was never properly repaired. Eldian is our true leader. Talk to him if you need something. You can find a lot of trade goods here in Lethian's Crossing. I don't particularly want to steal from you. You seem pretty poor. On the face of it...
Sorry, I can't.
There's not much here. Actually, let me check. How much did Tunon dislike that? Yeah, quite a bit.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't. Sorry. I can't.
A bright-faced woman greets you as you approach. Welcome to Lethian's Crossing, Wanderer. My name is Phaedra, and this is my beautiful wife, Deya. She indicates the stone-faced blonde woman standing next to her, who holds up her hand in a quick greeting. What brings you to town? Okay. So, apparently same-sex marriage is a thing in the tiers. I applaud. I am pleasantly surprised. Is there anything I can help you with? What can you tell me about Lethian's Crossing? I have lived here most of my life, but honestly I'm not sure there's much to say. She looks contemplative. We're a center of trade and a waypoint for the travelers. The walls are a little scary, but you get used to them over time. She looks at Deya. What about you, dear? Deya shrugs, her expression never changing. What is there to say? The town is alright, but living under the thumb of an occupying force makes it hard to truly relax. Phaedra puts her hand on Deya's shoulder, and Deya sighs. Sorry we couldn't be of more help. You haven't always lived here? Several years before Kairos' invasion, I moved away from Lethian's Crossing. Being the granddaughter of Lethian came with a responsibility I wasn't ready for. I met Deya in the Bastard City and decided to stay for a while. We were living in a Bastard City when we heard about Kairos' forces moving into the tiers, so we took that as our motivation to move. And I think we got out there at just the right time. We traveled a bit with a couple of caravans, but nothing really seemed like home until I returned to Lethian's Crossing. You never realize how much you can miss a place until you've been away for a while. She wraps her arms around Deya and squeezes. But I could live anywhere as long as this one is with me. It's true that the trade hasn't been as vibrant here recently, but I'm sure it's simply a temporary setback. The merchants will sing and dance for you, trying to convince you their supplies are unaffected, but everyone is feeling it. I have faith the world will set itself right soon enough. People call me a fool, but I don't see the benefit in bemoaning your fate. You take what life hands you and make it work. You're Lethian's granddaughter? One of many, I suspect, but I'm the only one anyone knows about, and before you ask, no, Eldian is not my father. Maybe you haven't heard, but my grandmother wasn't exactly the settling down type. What's your opinion on the Bronze Brotherhood? I haven't had any real problems with them. They might be a little rough around the edges, but they seem to be trying to help the city. They can all hang. Deya interrupts, her face showing the first bit of true emotion since the conversation started. I have seen nothing but misery when they interfere. If you have the coin, they'll do anything. They are thieves and murderers, and I can't wait to see them trampled. She emphasizes her words by spitting on the ground between her feet. Deya, Phaedra says, consoling her, I'm sorry about that. I do my best to make our lives here as easy as I can, but there's only so much you can do to alleviate the pain of the past. I don't think that will ever be fixed. Thank you for your time. Any time, traveler, Phaedra says happily. If you need anything else, just let me know. What about you? Hello, traveler. Okay, I guess you don't have a separate opinion of your own. Well, you clearly do, but she doesn't want to talk to me, I guess. Okay, is that the yeah, that's the Forgebound headquarters. If you need anything, speak to Lohara. She's the one in charge here.
That wasn't so hard. Got it!
These worn iron weapons look as if they have been recently repaired or are being ready to be shipped back out. This armor is newly made by the Forgebound. It's still warm to the touch.
Can't do that.
It's hot, don't touch it. Oh, thank you for your wisdom. Ulandis surveys the room with an air of superiority. He addresses you without making eye contact. Is there something you want? Is there a problem? He eyes you carefully to watch Lohara as he answers you. Yes, but these are Forgebound matters. Nothing that concerns the High Court of Tunon, I can assure you. What do you do here in the Forge? I keep things running smoothly, upkeep mostly. He smiles coyly. I am also second to command in Lohara, so in case anything ever happens to her, I am here to take charge. Well, you're not very talkative. A muscular woman stands upright from her forge and turns to look at you, the light of the fire playing across her face, making her eyes dance dangerously. A toothy smile breaks across her mouth, the only bright spot on her soot-stained face. Do you kill with your left hand or your right? She rubs blackened palms together, eyeing you expectantly. Normally I can tell at a glance, but you're a little harder to read. Why would you like to know? Are you intending to cripple my other arm? For whatever reason. The gauntlet is the hardest place of the panoply, and the most rewarding to work. So many scales of so many different sizes, and then there are the rivets. I imagine you see a battle a lot in your line of work. One gauntlet is invariably going to wear out before the other. My mind is always thinking on what will need repairs first. It's as simple as that. Well, I guess I'm right-handed. Noted. She clears her throat and wipes her blackened hands on the canvas of her smock. I am Lohara, Master of Tempering, and the Forge Master of Lethian's Crossing. My tasks exceed the hours left in the day, but there is no harm in pausing my work if it means speaking with the Fatebinder. How may I be of assistance? Tell me about Lethian's Crossing. I don't see much of it, only this. She points to the roof and walls of the forge. Lethian and her merchant crew settled this area a while back. The brave fools built bridges over the old walls and made themselves a crossroads trading post. Real pioneer spirit stuff. The whole place may have been ignored by Karis's forces, except somebody discovered there's iron everywhere. Can wash your clothes without the river, in the river without them coming out rust-tinged. So the iron made Lethian Crossing important enough for Kairos to want it for himself. It made good sense to move us Forgebound here to Lethian's Crossing. Easier to put us near the iron instead of shipping it over the mountains. That, and it is a crossroads. We can resupply our allies faster than ever from our new workshop. Tell me about the Forgebound. For centuries, my guild has sought the union of magical and manual perfection. While others concern themselves with the arcane for the sake of inordinate power, we study to overcome the traditional limits of our arts and craft. The forge is our dominant concentration of study, but not all Forgebound work metal. Some are weavers, carpenters, and one of our other members fancies himself a chef. That's cool. So I guess it's generally a craftsman brotherhood. The wise and mighty Kairos has been kind to our guild. He offered to put our weapons and armor in the hands of those who would change the world. A broad smile overcomes her face, and he has been true to his word. Forgebound iron has trampled the tears, and all that oppose Kairos' forces rest their heads on forgebound spears. What can you tell me about the Forgebound Master? Zendia is the best leader I have had the pleasure of working under. She guides the Forgebound with a steady yet stern hand, guaranteeing all of our work is of the utmost quality and peerless in every regard. I am Zendaya's second, which is why I am the Forge Master for Lethian's Crossing. She points at Ulantis. He is my second, should anything happen to me. I haven't worked with him so long, so I don't know much about him, or the true long-lasting quality of his work, but he was appointed by Zdenia, so he must be good at what he does. How exactly does your magic help you make things? Our most important rituals bind the crafter, tools and materials into one entity. She cracks a nervous smile, or close enough. In my own work, the Forgebind draws the whole of my senses to the edge of the blade I am tempering. I can see the tiniest notch or touch my fingers to the blade and feel the razor sharpness without it breaking my skin. Such perfect execution of its art has a cost, of course. One's heart and lungs become linked to the flame and hammer. A dropped hammer could lead to a stopped heart. Most of our members die in the throes of the work, killed by a distraction or a simple error. We lose a lot of apprentices. She blushes. Can you make something magical? No. She smiles and shakes her head. But almost everyone asks. Relics of arcane power must grow into themselves. They are never made from nothing. She points her finger in the air and smiles. What I can do is use my magic to swing my hammer with perfect precision, or work a cantrip to handle molten metal with my bare hands. We can build artifacts of exceeding quality and refinement, but they must be used in great deeds to grow into relics of power, and that's why we seek to put our works of our forges into the hands of the greats. True legends require the alliance of a sword maker and a sword master. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting, because what she's implying here, well, not implying, what she's telling me is that magical artifacts in this setting create themselves by the virtue of you performing great deeds with a high quality piece of equipment. It can become magical. That's actually cool, and I wonder if this is going to happen to some of my items as I go through the campaign. And let us speak of something else. Are you well? You look weary. Ecstatic. Her voice is a matter of fact, and a smile creeps in. The ritual of the forge links heart to hammer. My blood beats only when I strike my ingot, and my forge runs too hot if my breath becomes too hurried. The bond is both fatiguing and exhilarating. Couldn't that kill you? She said it could. I should hope so. She laughs, her face blushing the color of molten metal. Better than being defiled and killed by brigands, poisoned by grain rot, or slain by childbirth. Would not a soldier wish to die in battle? Is that how you excel at your craft? Well, that and practice, she scowls. But yes, the ritual links the senses to the materials, and the body to the tools. My hands become a joint, the hammer the true end of my arm. I feel the heat of the forge, as if it was the weather of the room. Under such circumstances, true focus can emerge. Fascinating. Can you make something for me? Can? Most certainly. Will? Well, Kairos invented cues for a reason. She lets sleep a sly. I have every Iron Walker and every Scarlet Chorus ringleader sending me bribes and flattery in hopes that I'll work off schedule and make them something special or one of a kind. Her mouth moves as if to speak, but she falls silent, folding her arms. I did not realize the request was so thoughtless. My apologies. I get unreasonable demands every day, but it's not the volume, it's the purpose. She lowers her voice to a near whisper as she closes in to you. I do resent that Kairos demands to reduce our works to mere quotas. I should be allowed to customize my work for every soldier. Only apprentices have anything to learn from making the same size helmet again and again. Forget I asked. That I will. Okay, they are pretty cool. I like the lore of the Forgebound. First of all, I like the whole concept of, you know, this being set on the verge of the Iron Age, and those who can work iron are literally, you know, treated as mages. I have to pause for a second. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I like the fact that, you know, working iron, refining iron is presented as mystical. And of course, what she said about them becoming one with their tools and literally, you know, perceiving the act of forging a blade as if, well, not even as if, they are physically participating in it with their bodies. They are like shaping metal, molten metal with their hands. It's all pretty cool.
Huh.
The Forgebound won't sell anything to us settlers. The back wall of his home has long since crumbled away, revealing the old walls behind it.
bet I could crack that open.
Okay, this is a pretty large location, so to be honest, I think I'll enter this last. I'll check out the smaller homes and the like. It seems to be like maybe the seat of power for the Bronze Brotherhood or something, because it has their banners at the entrance. The young man hangs his head and regards your approach with a pitiful sigh. Greetings, he is barely able to force the word, his voice breaking as he speaks. What's wrong? He takes a deep breath. My sister Kella and I watched the Bronze Brotherhood fending off multiple waves of Kairos' forces when they tried to take the crossing. I was terrified, but she was exhilarated. In a way, I have never seen her so alive. He chokes back a sob. So she got so fired up that she joined the Brotherhood the first chance she got. Shortly after joining, they sent her out on a scouting mission with some of the other Brotherhood soldiers. When none returned, they were all found dead at the Deserters' March. I'm sorry, is there anything I can do to help? Thank you, but no. I just want to be left alone. Please leave me alone. Nothing you say will help.
I got it.
Okay, I think that's all, right? Although, was I in Eldian's house? I'm not quite sure. Like, Eldian was mentioned, but I don't think I talked to him. Indeed.
Can't do that.
Well met, Fatebinder, and welcome to Lethian's Crossing. The sunburnt man dips his head in a greeting. An outsider never arrives alone. At least that's what my mother always said. Seems she knew what she was talking about. He nods thoughtfully at his own words. I am Eldian. Welcome to Lethian's Crossing. You must be the one everyone is talking about. Tunon's Fatebinder, right? Eldian looks over you. We could have used your help when the Kairos' forces tried to take Lethian's Crossing, though I suppose you would have been fighting on their side, wouldn't you? But the Brotherhood overcame, and now we're saddled with their continued leadership. He shrugs. I suppose there are worse fates. Hearing stories of your exploits in Vengeance Well, I expect you to be 12 feet tall and shoot fire from your mouth. Can't always tell the contents of a pie from the crust, can you? But enough of my prattling. You didn't come here for a history lesson or to get my opinion of your grandeur. He waves his hand dismissively at his previous comments. The adjudicator sent you here for the Archon of Song, I assume. What can this old fool do for you? What was that about the Archon of Song? Sirin, the songbird? Feels like it's half the town she's got mooning over her in that hovel near the river. It's on the first tier if you want to find her. His brow knits. Feel free to take her with you as you go. He cants his head slightly, banishing his sour expression. But seeing how you're not here for her, what can I do for you? Can I ask you questions about Lethian's crossing? If you have questions about our settlement, I'm the one to ask. I've the dubious distinction of being the oldest living resident, so I've been here for a lot of the history. He smiles. Eyes, hips, hair, and hearing might be falling, but my mind still remembers everything that happened here. What would you like to know about? I'll do my best not to go on too long about it. I know I have a problem keeping my conversations short. I'd like to ask about the crossing's history. If you have questions about the goings-on, I'm the one to ask. I've been here for more of its history than anyone else. What would you like to know? Who was Lethian? The biggest pain in the ass I ever knew. He turns bright red, blushing at his words, then lets out a huge quaff. I suppose I shouldn't talk about my mother like that. She was a mediocre merchant but a great leader. The war in the northern kingdoms cost her a very lucrative trade up north, but she managed to earn the trade stewardship from Kairos, and for a short time she had a monopoly on grain, salt, and tin here in the tiers. What did my grandmother say? Give a blind man time and a pile of rocks, and eventually he'll hit a target. He shrugs. Not to say she didn't deserve it, but I think luck played a bigger part in her success than actual talent. But Kairos gives and Kairos takes. The next year, Lethian was stripped of her trade rights. Suddenly she had a large staff but no goods to trade, and no means to pay anyone. But she was a stubborn one, and knew that if she just kept at it, eventually things would turn around for her. She figured the trade goods could come to us. The location was good enough. It's crazy that would happen. It's crazy how that would happen. And so she decided to concentrate on making an existing local settlement into the center of commerce for the tiers. By the claws of beast, and by the claws of a beast, she did just that. I thought she was crazy choosing a town near the old walls, but apparently she knew what she was doing. It wasn't long after that she renamed it Lethian Crossing. With the bridges over the old walls, there was the only place to go if you wanted to take weeks off of your trip. Eventually she hired the Bronze Brotherhood to act as our local guard. We were big enough and had enough commerce to warrant the protection. She was your mother? Of course. How did you think I became the Reeve of the Crossing? It's certainly not my storytelling or charm. I might be the oldest resident here, but that's certainly not good enough of a reason to make someone a leader. Though come to think of it, neither is just being the offspring of the former leader. He laughs. But like it or not, that's how things are. My mother was a wonderful woman. She might have not been the nicest person, and she might have been overfond of dalliance here and there, but who isn't? His face sobers. May her rest ever be free of disturbance. How did you build the old wall bridges? Lethian was the mastermind of that. She could tie up a knot with one hand and one string. I remember watching her draw systems of ropes and knots in the sand, telling me what they would do when built. I thought she was crazy. She got this idea for the bridges from seeing galleys pulled out of the water into dock. Apparently the hardest part was just the initial climbing team to brave the old walls and set the first ties, but apparently you can just pay a man enough rings for him to overcome his fear of old wall predators. Why did you settle here? Necessity. The rope bridge lets us cross the old walls. With them, it didn't matter what trade rights we had, we would be at the crossroads to the northern tiers, an unbeatable location. The siege of Ardent and the Bastard City ended up helping us. All those folks heading to points east crossed through our little settlement, and many of them decided to stake a claim with us. By then, Lethian discovered that there was iron in our rivers. She thought it would make us rich, but it also made us a target. The old walls don't make passage through the area easy, and our bridges cut days to weeks of a trip. Lethian's crossing is the best bet to get your shipment where it needs to go. Mix another load of iron ore into it, and we've suddenly had a target painted on us. What is Kairos' interest in the crossing? Iron, plain and simple. Now we have the Forgebound here, toiling away with the ore that they pull from the river. We're being squeezed for our resources. If you're after a drink, better to squeeze fruit than a stone. And it would seem many people find us to be very juicy indeed. There was a merchant who tried to peddle iron rocks as magical because they came from an area near the old walls. One of the people he sold to happened to be a disfavored courier. The courier showed the rock to a Forgebound master, who immediately recognized the potential for making superior weapons. It was brought to Kairos' attention, and soon afterwards, soldiers and Forgebound came to Lethian's crossing. They came with such a force, our options were to either comply with what they wanted or die. What does the Brotherhood want? Why does the Brotherhood want Lethian's crossing? Land, breeding stock? They've been here much longer than I have, so maybe they consider it home too. Kairos's purse masters are no longer paying them to fight, and if a mercenary is killing for free, something suspect. In the end, I suppose it doesn't matter. Retamon will never let it go. He feels he owns this town, and he aims to have it be his. Let me ask something else. What would you like to know? What can you tell me of the Spire? There's no getting used to it. You'd think after years of living under the shadow of it that your nerves would calm, but that never happened for me. You can only be so relaxed when your neighbors are the bane. The moment you let your guard down around one of those old walls, my friend, you're done. Now, Lethian wasn't completely mad to settle here. She ventured inside and found sealed passageways that made it impossible to wander too far beyond the entrance. She figured that it meant the Bane couldn't easily reach us. Whoever created the monstrosity wanted us to stay out, and that's exactly what we've done. It hasn't been a perfect arrangement. There have been incidents. He grimaces at the recollection, but for the most part, the Bane don't venture out, so long as you don't venture in. We just have to be vigilant every day. Can I enter the old walls? Must you enter? Surely there's another... He stops, adopting a less confrontational tone. Nobody will stop you, Fatebinder, if that's what you mean. If you have business inside, I can only assume it must be an important matter. The old walls are unpredictable, plain and simple. The Bane may leave you be today, but I'm not the sort to gamble when it comes to these abominations. Tell me of your thoughts on the Bronze Brotherhood. They were here since the crossing was founded. Lethian herself hired them to protect the settlement when it was just getting started. A fledgling town in the shadow of the old walls. They did such a good job, she kept them as our peacekeepers, and that's how things went. They are a good enough sort, but when Nerat offered to pay them to help Kairos' forces, I knew we were in for some trouble. Taking pay from two employers is always getting to end badly if you can't make both of them happy. On top of all of it, it seems lately that Retamon is following a path only he can see, and I'm not looking forward to what he finds at the end. Tell me what you think of the Disfavored. I'm not sure what to say, honestly. I've heard rumors that the Disfavored are tough, disciplined crew, but the Bronze Brotherhood were able to force them out of the crossing without much trouble. I'm sure they must have been extenuating circumstances, but until I can see something to change my mind, that's how I feel. How have your interactions with the Scarlet Chorus been? Can't say I have a strong opinion one way or the other, really. They don't seem to care about much. They don't seem to care much about leaving the settlement behind. They put up what seemed to be only a token resistance when the Brotherhood drove them out, but once they left, I haven't really seen much of them. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need directions around here. Eldian laughs and puts a hand on your shoulder. I completely understand. The crossing can be a bit intimidating for the first time when someone arrives, but it's not as complicated as it looks. The river is named Portuskor, and it flows down from the middle of the settlement. The waterfalls pouring over the old walls are the sunrise and moonrise. The west waterfall is sunrise because of how the sun hits it in the morning, and the moonrise gets its name from how it glows during a full moon. The crossing itself is broken into districts named after the waterfalls. The west side is the sunrise district and the east side is the moonrise. There are different levels of Lethian's crossing, don't really have names, but people refer to them as tiers. My home is considered part of the ground tier. The forge is on the first, both in the moonrise district. I have other questions. What can this old fool do for you? Well, apparently I don't have any other questions. I'll be on my way, but may the silence of peace and the jangling of rings both follow you in all things. Okay, but supposedly
Can't do that.
Sirin, the Archon of Song, is in here. Like, I very much would like to talk to her. So I am going to once again look at the map and see if maybe I overlooked something.
Found something. There's an outburst of frost damage when critically hit. That's pretty cool. Sirin's Sanctuary. Okay, so it's here by the river. I completely overlooked that. Okay, she's in here. I will talk to her, of course, but I will do it next time because this episode has been long enough. So that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!